This video will discuss strategies for dividing by fours. So when dividing by fours, the most efficient strategy is to think multiplication. So 12 divided by 4, I'm going to think of that instead as 4 times what is 12. And if I know my multiplication facts, I know that that's 3. And that helps me know that 12 divided by 4 is also 3. So in our division problem, the total is the first number, which is called the dividend. In a multiplication problem, the total ends up at the end, that's the product. And so since we have this relationship between multiplication and division, we can use one to help us solve the other. But let's say I don't know that. Let's say 36 divided by 4. I think 4 times what is 36? I just don't know. One way I could do is skip count. And I'm going to skip count by 4s because one way to interpret division is to think how many 4s are in 36. So I could skip count by 4s. I'm going to keep track on my fingers and figure out how many groups of 4 are there. So here we go. 4, 8, 12, 16, 20. So now I'm right here. 24, 28, 32, 36. So I kept track of those and I can see that there are 9 groups. So 36 divided by 4 is 9. So I can use skip counting to find the answer. I can get it accurately, but that wasn't all that efficient. There are a couple more strategies that are more efficient than that. One strategy is to kind of lean on the distributive property for multiplication. I'm going to break up that 28 divided by 4 into chunks to help me get to the answer. So I've got 28 divided by 4. Let's say I don't know 4 times what is 28. I'm going to think, well, what divided by 4 fact do I know? And you know what? I really know and like my 5s facts. I know 20 divided by 4 is 5. So since I had 28, this was my total, and you'll see that I've used up 20. I now have 8 remaining in my total, but notice my divisor doesn't change. I still have to divide that remaining total by 4. So I know now I have to think, well, 8 divided by 4. I know 8 divided by 4 is 2. So now I just have to put those two parts together to figure out what is my total quotient for 28 divided by 4. Well, 28 divided by 4 is 7. So notice when you use that fact that gets you to 5, it really makes a lot of this mental math much easier. So here's another way to think about that strategy using an area model. If I think of this rectangle, and this entire rectangle has the area of 24, what I'm going to do is think of the divisor is 4, and that's one of my side lengths, and now I'm trying to figure out this piece. So I'm thinking out 4 times what is 24. But if I don't know that answer instantly, again, I'm going to use that idea of chunking that out, kind of using that distributive property of multiplication. What fact divided by 4 do I know? Well, you know, I just told you I really like to lean on 5s, and I do, and I think that in this case would be really efficient, but I want to show you that it works even if I don't get to that answer of 5. So let's say I know 16 divided by 4. That's a fact that I know, and I know that that's 4. Well, I had 24 in my total, and I've used 16, and I know that 8 is left. So this piece, this area here, has the area of 8. So I have to take that remaining piece, and I have to divide that by 4. I know 8 divided by 4 is 2. So now I know that 24 was my total area. 4, the divisor, was this side. My quotient is this remaining side, and I can see that the total length is 4 and 2, which is 6. So when dividing by 4, first you want to think about, do I know the multiplication fact? And if you don't, you're going to use a fact you do know. So here's another example to review that. 36 divided by 4, I'm going to think what number times 4 is 36. So if I know my multiplication facts and I know that's 9, I know that the answer is 9. But let's pretend I don't know, I don't remember. So again, I told you I really like to use those 5 facts. So I'm going to think, well, I don't know 36 divided by 4, but I do know 20 divided by 4. And 20 divided by 4 is 5. So I had 36. And I've used up 20. So here that's really nice mental math because I'm ending in a 0 here, and I know 36 take away 20 is 16. So I have 16 left in my total. 16 divided by 4 is 4. And now I just have to take those two parts. I have to take the 5 and the 4 of my quotients, I put those back together, and I know that my quotient for 36 divided by 4 is 9. So remember, when dividing by 4s, you're going to first use multiplication. You're going to think multiplication. Think what times 4 is the dividend. You're going to use a fact you already know. And really, this would be my third option because it's really the least efficient, would be to skip count by 4s until you get to the dividend.